Our friends Dave and Stephanie headed back to Tennessee. We had a good week with them. We'll see them around Thanksgiving. We're going to head up there and have Thanksgiving with them. And we're back after it today on the homestead. We've got a couple things to do in the house. And then we're going to go check on the greenhouse. And then we're going to be back in the shop. We're going to work on that wagon again today, so stick around. Crazy rain last night. We got 2.36 inches last night. It was raining cats and dogs like crazy, and with our repairs that are needed up on the roof, that has me a little concerned. I hope we didn't get much leaking. Hopefully we didn't get any leaking into the attic. I'm sure we got some. There's like 2 feet of insulation up there, so we wouldn't know it till we had quite a bit up there. So hopefully we're not getting too much damage. Well, to get things started this morning, Kelly boiled some eggs for me, so I'm going to make some pickled eggs, and I'm making a Cowboy candy pickled egg, so we'll show you how to do that. We got our boiled eggs. I got a wide mouth quart jar. We're going to put as many eggs that will fit in here. It's usually about 10 eggs, and then whatever's left over we'll just eat as hard boiled eggs. They're good to have around as a snack. And then we'll mix up our brine. And then all you got to do, let them set for about a month. And then they'll pick up that flavor. You can use any flavors you want. Actually, used all of our eggs, so cool. So we start out with 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. And to that we add 1 cup of just regular white sugar. And also 1 cup of brown sugar. 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. There we go. And then we're also going to add some jalapenos to the mix because we're going to get like a sweet hot brine is what we're making. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of sliced jalapenos to our eggs. And then we'll shake those around in there until they distribute a little bit better. These are the jalapenos that we fermented and then refrigerated. These are all from the garden last year. Fantastic. So we're going to take this mixture here. We're going to heat it in the microwave about 30 seconds at a time until that sugar is dissolved completely, and then we'll pour it into our jar with our eggs. Got our sugars dissolved mostly. Let's see if we can pour this in without making a mess. These glass measuring cups sometimes spill all over the counter when you're trying to pour. So we've got plenty of marinade. We're going to take it right to the top. And then if you've got extra like this, don't throw it away. Makes a fantastic jerky marinade if you have some sliced beef or even chicken or turkey probably. Put that in there, let it marinate for a day or two, and then smoke it. That would be excellent jerky. So we'll let this cool off now and we'll put it in the fridge. So that's done. We can work on other stuff now. All right, we're going to grab our coffee and go out and check the greenhouse. Pups are excited to be outside. Beautiful. Everything's so beautiful and clean after a good rain. Everything's greening up beautiful here on the homestead. Our tomatoes that we transplanted here a while back are doing really good. You can see how they're getting their second set of leaves now. And we did not lose even one seedling. Even the little tiniest of seedlings that we put in here. Like this little thing here was just super, super tiny. Good morning, Cat. Everything's coming together. And then we have more of our celery sprouted, so we're going to thin this out a little bit. All of our cabbages and everything's looking good. We've already got collard greens popping up here. Those have only been planted for a few days. And our zucchini's about ready to plant out. We've looked at the forecast and things are looking good. Kelly's able to look at a 30-day forecast. We've got some more peppers popping up here. Hopefully we get more than that. We've only got one hatch pepper, but I'm happy about that. We can save some seeds from a plant. Those hatch peppers that we pulled those seeds out of were roasted peppers, so I didn't know if they were even going to germinate at all. But if we get one plant, we'll get enough peppers to get some seeds off of. Okay, we got our asparagus thinned down just a handful each in each cup. We've got our watermelons and cantaloupe going back here. I think we only had one here that didn't do anything. But all the rest is. We'll have plenty to give away this year. Got no asparagus sprouting yet, but it takes a while. So we won't see anything here for some time. We finally got some of our carrots coming up. I'll thin those out in a few days. Our wasabi radish is doing beautifully. All of our beets have come up. They're doing very nice. We'll do a second thinning on this. Everything's going good. All of our fruit trees are coming out. The ones that are early. Cherry trees are coming out. The apple trees are coming out. The pear trees are coming out. We were just about able to get into the garden after the last rain, and then we got this 2 inches. So now, if it doesn't rain anymore, it'll be probably 4 or 5 days before we can get out here. We need to get the drip lines pulled back to the top. We need to mulch our rows, take care of any little weeds that are coming up out here, and then we'll start planting out 2024. You can see our apple trees out there in full bloom. The bees have been loving that. The elderberries are coming out. We've got to make sure the weeds stay down around these. The weeds kind of blocked them out last year. They didn't get a lot of sun because this buffalo grass gets pretty tall. Our windmill's still going strong up here in our weather vane. We're getting winds from the northwest. So I'm going to head inside. I got to change into some work clothes because I don't want to destroy my stuff that doesn't have stains in it yet. Ooh, check out our rhubarb. Look at our rhubarb coming on. So a quick change and then we will head back to the shop and work on our wagon. We've got some welding we can do on it today. Get a lot of that done. Boy, too bad I wasn't a mushroom forager. I would know whether these are edible or not. We get plenty. There's an old wooden stump here and we get a lot of mushrooms growing on these. But I'm not brave enough to try them. Sometimes they say the best way is just eat a tiny piece and see if you have any reaction. And if you don't, eat a little bit bigger piece and so on and so on. But I don't want to be a guinea pig. I remember out at my grandparents' house they used to forage mushrooms. But they probably knew a little better what you could eat and what you can't. I'm not. I haven't really done any research into mushrooms, but someday I'd like to. All right, we're going to put our eggs in the fridge. Bye-bye for a month. Well, it turned into a beautiful sunshiny day, just a little breezy. But the breeze won't hurt us here in the shop. We'll get things going out here. So the first thing I need to do on our wagon project here, we'll get this new metal moved out of the way. I need to clean up the sheet metal on the bin portion of the wagon here so I can get a good weld here on the top. I don't think we need to cut our angle iron because we need exactly 10 feet in here. So once we get that cleaned up, we can start getting that angle iron in there and getting it welded. Got her cleaned up on the bottom. Dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. So let's get that angle iron underneath there. Okay, we've worked our angle iron in where it needs to go. It's back behind these brackets like the floor was. We're in good back here in the back. We used our little cherry picker engine hoist here and then a come along on the front to pick our side up. So we'll get the welder over here close, we'll get some clamps, and we'll start clamping this thing tight as we go down and do some welding. Now I see some areas we're going to have to get in here and beat this stuff down on the inside. I don't know if we necessarily have to do it to weld the top edge on the outside, but eventually we'll have to get in here. So rather than try to climb underneath, this dump gate is going to come out anyway, so we'll get these bolts cut loose, remove this dump gate, it'll fall out the bottom, and then that way we can crawl in here a lot easier. This will eventually be part of the opening in the back. Now that'll be a lot easier to get inside when we need to. So we're ready to do some welding. We've got our clamp. I took and I marked every now and then where I want to put a weld so it's kind of consistent. It doesn't seem like really random. A bunch of welds on here. So let's get after it. This angle iron is thicker than the metal that we're welding here too, obviously, and there's a little corrosion going on, so it's even thinner than it was at first when it was first made. But anytime you're dealing with that situation, you want to start your weld on the thicker metal and then just move it over to the thin metal briefly, just enough to adhere it. You don't want to concentrate on this thin stuff or you'll blow a hole right through it. So we got this side welded up. So now we can go to the other side. Now when I'm done with the other side, I'll get on the inside. We'll probably, where the holes where these bolts were down here, we'll probably spot weld through those holes. And then we have some areas to straighten up in there with a hammer. But I'll wait till I get the other side done so we can do both sides on the inside at once. Got everything cleaned up and got our angle wedged into this side. So now all we have to do is weld this side. Got our other side done now, so this thing's nice and rigid on the bottom again. So I think we're going to move to the rear now. I think we're going to start working on our door here. We've got some metal rods in here that are holding the box together. We'll leave these in for now until we get our structure made. We've got to cut a piece of angle iron. I want to put it down here, turn it so it sits up on the bottom, and I want to come out a little ways out here, probably even with the outside of the box here. We'll hang it over a little bit on both sides. Got the piece cut here. I ended up not coming all the way out because I measured these channel irons. It's going to go underneath the middle, and I made them the same length as those, so we're sticking out the same so it looks uniform with the other two. Now, up until now, square hasn't really mattered because we've only been welding on one side of the box at a time. But now that we're tying one side to the other, we have to maintain that we're square because this is just sheet metal. It moves around. So I measured corner to corner. One way I had 132 3/4, and this way I had 132. So that means this end needs to go that way till we have 132 3/8, and then that would give us 132 3/8 this way. So I just added the clamp down here, and I clamped over the axle, and I pulled this side 3/8 of an inch that way, making the measurements the same corner to corner. Now we can weld that up and things should stay reasonably square. Obviously, before we weld the bed down to the wagon gear here on the bottom, we'll again do a square check, see if we have to move anything around. Now that we got it pretty rigid, we're going to go ahead and cut this bar out of here. I'll cut this nut off the end here, and we'll use that bar for something else later. And then I think our back door, I'm just going to stay right along the line of this big channel that was for the door, and then we'll put a piece, cap that with a piece of angle iron going all the way down to there, and that'll clean that up and that'll strengthen that even more. And then we'll see if we have to add any bracing, because if I do, I'm going to use these big rods similar to what these do. They'll come up and then tie into here like they do in the middle, and that'll give us even some more stability. We could even put a gusset in here, a little gusset, and hold that if it's wobbly, but we'll see. I know front to back here we're going to get a little wobble, so we're probably going to put a gusset in here and then maybe tie in this corner here. That would add some more stability. Up front, these are tied in together with a piece, but there's nothing back here. Got the back door open. Obviously we're going to have some stability because this bar's in here, but I may remove the bar real quick to see how stable this is, to see what we need. We're going to have to find out sooner or later. So now what we'll do is we'll cut these angle irons here to cap this end off. We'll weld it up here. We'll stitch weld it down both sides. Let's get those cut. So I cut this piece to go here, cap this off, and then what are the odds my drop piece is the exact measurement I need for this side. That is crazy. Got all capped off here. Looks pretty good. So we're probably going to cap this and cap this so it looks good. We may even 45 this one here. Do the same thing on this side. But it's nice and sturdy now, but I did find out something. That rod that went through here basically held this corner together. So we're going to have to clean this up and put a couple stitch welds over here to hold this corner together on both sides. But right now I'm going to go get something to eat real quick in the house. In the inside of the trailer now we have these areas that are bent up like this. That I'm going to take a hammer and a chisel and we'll bend this back down and tuck it back in the corner so it doesn't interfere with the wood planks when we put them in here. And then we're also going to come through with the welder and we'll spot weld these holes up onto the angle iron, fill those in. It'll give a little more attachment there. We'll go all the way around doing this. Just like that, we got it flattened out. We got a couple more areas to do that too. Okay, we got all the holes spot welded. I went through and ground down any place that I burned through when we were welding the outside. And we straightened all the places that were bent. The only thing we got left to do in here other than putting in the wood and the brackets, I'm going to put another piece of angle iron across the front because the lip on the front wall is about rusted out. So it'll look like this when we're done up front up there. And then we're nice and sturdy here. We still have to cap these. I'll probably 45 these and fill these in with a gusset. And then we'll put those metal things like the middle. We'll clean this up and get it installed. But we don't have time for that today. My cousin's kid's graduating, Tate, their oldest boy. So his party's tomorrow, so Kelly is going over to help set up the party room and all that. So I'm going to go in town and help them do that if they need any help. And we'll get back on this thing probably next video if we don't have something else to do yet. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Hope you enjoyed our wagon project here. Still ongoing. But it's really coming along. I'm pleased with the progress that I got done. So come back and see us here on Markelly Farm. We've got lots to do.